Good afternoon, guys. DW Pastor Perry coming at you from our humble abode in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Well, it's been a minute. In fact, it's been close to 2 months since I could be out here, not in my bedroom, doing a devotional video. It's because we've had so many people come through here. Without getting into details, I'm not going to tell anybody's personal business, but because of life circumstances, there are certain others who are kind of transitioning and they're here for now. And usually the house is quite full of people. Of course, I have my own little pocket here in the corner of the home. That's just for me, and nobody usually goes in there unless they want to raid my fridge and take a few sodas. But that's okay. They're welcome to do so. I do have opportunity now to be with you. I'm all alone in the home with the animals. So we're going to do a daily Guideposts Devotional from the 1979 portion of this. This is January the 11th. We're going through this rather slowly. I'll probably do another video tonight after church, if I can. I'll be all dressed up in my suit. As you guys know, these ones do not have titles, but they quote the 7th verse from 1 Samuel chapter 16, which tells us, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." Before I read some more from 1 Samuel 16, let me say this, and our pastor has said this many times as well. Yes, we don't judge people by the outside, but we can tell usually what's going on with them by how they look on the outside. If you don't know what I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but let me say this. If God is truly working on you in the inside, if he's working on you in here, if there are changes taking place in here, then the outside of the person is going to follow with the way they dress, the way they present themselves. You know, a lot of Christians out there, they don't know how to dress properly. People are exposing parts of their body that are only supposed to be for their spouse. Maybe that'll convict somebody, but that's the truth. The Bible tells us to dress modestly. Now, this is not about dress, but I'm saying it is important how we represent ourselves and how we represent Jesus even more so. But God first looks at the heart, which also means that we can't tell just by looking at someone if they truly love the Lord, how much they want to grow in him. You can't always judge by appearances on every level anyway. But let's go to this, 1 Samuel chapter 16, starting with verse number 1. It says, "The Lord said to Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him from ruling over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have chosen a king for myself from among his sons." Samuel said, "How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me." And the Lord said, "Take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you will do. And you will anoint for me him whom I tell you to." Or whom I tell to you. Samuel did that which the Lord spoke, and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, "Do you come in peace?" See, Samuel had a reputation as being a very powerful prophet of the Lord. And they knew that when he came, it meant business. So they're making sure that he came in the right spirit. You come in peace? Probably they were righteously scared. I don't know. And he said, "I have come in peace to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice." And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. When they came, he looked on Eliab and said, "Surely the anointed of the Lord is before him." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees, for man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." And that's the key of what we're trying to look at here this late afternoon and early evening. And the author tells us this: "A month after my 19-year-old son was killed in an automobile accident, I waited sadly on a bench in a crowded mall for a younger son to finish his shopping. My depression deepened as I became aware of the hundreds of unfamiliar faces passing by. It would be impossible for me ever to get to know even this small segment of the world's population, I thought. How can God possibly care what happens to each person in the entire world? Man, I've thought about this too. That's interesting. I look at all the different, when I'm in big groups of people somewhere, I think, man, Jesus died for all these people. He knows them all by name. He knows every hair on their head. He knows what's going on in their lives. He knows which ones will be in eternity with him and which ones will be lost. He knows all of those things. So I've often thought of this too. On a planet filled with natural and man-made disasters, it seemed incomprehensible that God could concern himself with the heartbreak of one mother crying for her son. But even as tears began to blur my vision, I remembered what God had told Samuel. He does not see men the way we do. He looks on the heart. I blinked away the tears and tried to picture the heart of each oncomer shopper through God's eyes. Was that sour-faced man worried about his job? Could that whining child need attention? Had that solitary woman also lost a loved one? My own pain lessened as I felt myself wishing I could do something to bring comfort to all those solemn strangers. By the time my son joined me, I knew that, incredible as it seems, God actually does consider the hopes and the fears of each one of us. For I learned that evening that when you look at the heart through the eyes of God, you see with compassion and love. Absolutely true. And the initials at the bottom are RH, and they said, Lord, as I look on the outward appearance of others, help me to look also on their hearts. Excellent reminder in this devotional video. Hope you have enjoyed it. I encourage you guys, I know there aren't many videos up these days on my social media, but please share them around. Please do share it. Most people don't share them, and I'm not getting too much feedback. It's like, for some reason, Facebook seems to be kind of fading into the background now, and other types of social media are coming to the forefront. I mean, that's just the way I see it, but if you're still here with me on Facebook, I'm happy to hear that. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next Daily Guidepost Devotional from the 1979 portion of the series.